Hey everyone, welcome back to All in a Row Gardening. We're sitting here, we've got a lot of transplants to do, and tonight we're gonna do some, what kind of sunflowers?
Velvet Queen sunflowers.
Velvet Queen sunflowers, which are very, very pretty, I hope.
They should end up a really pretty red and orange.
So, here's the video for today. Sarah's gonna show you transplanting.
So these are the ones that we're going to be transplanting today. As you can tell, they've gotten a little too big for what they're in. This is what's called leggy. They are reaching for the light and getting really long stems in the process. So in order to help them grow better, what we're going to do is transplant them into something bigger so that their stems stay stable until they get a little bit bigger and stronger. So moving them up into this size today. This is about a 4-inch pot.
Except for the big one.
Except for the big one, apparently, which is going to go in something even bigger, which Cody's going to find for me so that I have one, because I don't have one over here. What I like to do is I start with just a little bit in the bottom. That way you've got plenty of room to get these seedlings in there and kind of spread the roots around.
You want the roots to have room to go out and not around, because if they get compacted, that's when root rot becomes a problem.
To pop these out, you just squeeze the bottom a little bit, and then very, very gently
and if you
pull out the seedling.
If you can see here, there's a ton of root problems here because it's just, there's too many. So that's why you have to transplant at the right time.
And what you're going to want to do here is very, very gently break up the soil around the roots. That way it doesn't create a huge root ball. It gives those roots a little bit of room to move around. Then take your scoop with your mix and fill in around the seedling. I like to fill all the way up to the bottom leaves because that kind of gives the plant some stability below the ground. Gives it a chance to create some more roots.
Pack it in a little bit, not too hard, and then toss in a little bit more on top. And, well, that didn't work.
But there we go. From a 6-cell tray all the way into a 4-inch pot. One very happy sunflower that's just starting to get its secondary leaves, and will now have some room to keep growing.
And it will probably start growing very quickly.
More than likely, these have been taking off for us pretty quick. These Velvet Queen sunflowers are all for sale right now. As they get a little bit bigger, they'll be going out on our tables as we have our next pop-up sale. And like I said earlier in the video, they should end up turning a very, very pretty red to orange color with a little bit of variegation to them.
Yeah, they start one color on the inside and turn different on the outside. Would start white and then turn red.
No, that's the Cherry Rose. These are going to be the Velvet Queen. We've got several different types of sunflowers right now.
I can't remember them all.
Keeping them all straight is a little bit of a challenge.
Especially for someone like me with memory issues.
So we have the Velvet Queen that I'm working on tonight. And we also have Cherry Rose, which is, as he mentioned, the white with red variegation. And then we also have Chocolate Cherry Sunflower, which turns a very, very pretty chocolate red color. It's almost like a burgundy color.
And we grew those last year.
And all the seeds that we have planted and growing right now actually came from our plant last year. So we harvested those seeds at the end of the season and saved them them over the winter and then planted them this spring. And now have 5 or 6 fairly good-sized sunflowers growing from.
Yeah, I'll
That
go
planting.
find one. There's one on the porch.
There should be one right behind you.
Yes. It's.
It's in the middle of a watering, so it's.
Not thrilled. But you can tell it's big.
That one was planted about a month and a half ago, I'd say. Whereas these Velvet Queens have only been growing for about a week and a half. So they are still brand new, like I said, just coming out of that 6-cell tray. So.
And when you get something like this, you take a different route. The big one.
The big one? Yeah, that one needs to go in something a little bit bigger. So it's going straight into a 6-inch.
So you can go on Amazon and get you a stack of these.
Or you can just always come to visit us at one of our sales and we'll have grown it for you.
That's right.
And then you can just, put it in the ground and enjoy it as it grows.
That's right. And to be honest with you, the chocolate cherry sunflowers were awesome looking, and I was surprised to see that they had more than one actual head to them.
And from the research that I've done on these new ones that we're growing this year, all of them will put off multiple heads, and all of them will flower with multiple blooms. So it's not just the single sunflower head on top of the stalk. You're actually getting to enjoy
5, 6, maybe 3, maybe 4.
depending on the plant, because each plant is going to vary depending on the amount of water and sunlight and particular conditions it gets. But
And whether it's fertilized or not. And if you have bees.
yes, plants like bees even if we don't. All right, so now I have our tall one. You wouldn't even know how tall it was now that it's in this 6-inch pot. It's buried just as deep as the ones that I did in the smaller pots. So,
And about in 2 to 4 weeks, it's going to go out in the yard.
Mhm.
Or she's going to tell me to sell it.
these particular ones will be for sale. Depending on how quickly they grow over the next few days, they may be available as soon as this weekend. It's really going to depend on how high they shoot up and how those secondary leaves come in. But hopefully, if not this weekend, then very, very soon we'll have those available. We are still.
And if you're trying to do this at home, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
If you're trying to do this at home from a small 6-cell tray into bigger pots, be easy with the plants. You can get rooting hormone, which will help, but it doesn't really do so much for certain plants.
Yes, you want to be very gentle because these roots are very, very tender at this point. Some of the other things that we've planted here where we've ended up
didn't work.
where we've ended up with more than one plant in each cell. They've been very interesting to try to separate those roots. I figured out there's an art to it, to separating those tomato roots when they've gotten all mixed up together. That's kind of my deal around here, is I do the really, really gentle work. He's really good at the digging and the mixing of dirt and the making things actually grow. But
If I'm good at making things grow, why are you touching things? No, I'm just kidding. I've already made them grow. Everything's good.
my husband, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, as I was saying, we are still at the point of being pop-up sales and by appointment at this point in time. You can always shoot us a message on Facebook or comment on here if you have any questions. We're happy to answer anything that we can.
An appointment if you want to come by and you've got a request or something like that. We can normally accommodate to an extent, but we had one person buy out an entire
Tomato type.
yeah, an entire type of tomato, and that kind of, the seeds don't necessarily come in packets of 100. They come in packets of 10 and 15 and stuff like that. So when somebody buys you out clean, you're like, uh-oh.
Yep, we're still a very small operation here, but we are
Yeah.
very happy to bring you tips and tricks. And by all means, check us out on Facebook and like and
Absolutely.
subscribe to see more videos. And
Oh yeah. And
our finished product here, our 6-inch
Where are your things?
and our 4-inch, all good to go. He's actually bringing around now something else that we have available. I rather, have done plant tags that he has generously varnished for me. They're wood burned into bamboo stakes, and all sorts of scripts are available, and all sorts of different varieties can be done. They can also be done custom. So those are available as well, and I'll go ahead and get those listed up on our Facebook page, because these, no matter where you are, I can send you these. The live plant's a little bit harder, but these,
The live plant's not.
I can hook you up. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to another video, and we hope to see you back soon. Anything else you'd like to say?
Thanks for watching.
Good night, y'all.